Hey YouTube, Aiden here. Let's remind you that you can get a lesson with me and link in the description. Otherwise, let's talk about just two of the 4 mouthpieces I recently got. I'm going to make 2 videos about this because I talk way too much and I apologize. The first mouthpiece is this one. So I've been playing this 3B obviously for a while now. It started many of my videos and I've been just kind of like looking for mouthpieces. I used the Bach no-letter mouthpieces for a while, 3, 5, 7, etc. I have a whole collection of those now, and I don't use them. The throats are too small for me. And I've kind of like gone to other stuff, gone smaller, bigger, but I kind of narrowed it down. Sorry, I got a couple of hiccups right there. To my Mount Vernon 6.5 AL, which is a pretty magic mouthpiece. Kind of does some things like really, really well. And this like more modern, I think 90s, yes, 90s Bach 5GS, which is a lot better in some other respects. Kind of like everything that this one doesn't do, this one does do. And I just kept waffling on those. I was just like, well, this one plays high range really well and has this awesome sound, but this 5GS has like this really cool big sound and a way better low register and is more comfortable. And I just kept going back and forth, and I was like, you know what? There's got to be something that's right in the Goldilocks zone, right in the middle, that kind of does the combination of those. And I looked in my drawer, and I found a 90s, another 90s, I don't know why I have so many of these, 6.5 AL, just totally stock, kind of beat up. And guess what? It was kind of both of those things combined. It was more comfortable than the Mount Vernon mouthpiece, way better high range than this, way better low range than this, just kind of like everything I wanted. One mouthpiece, but the rim was super messed up. Obviously, it was someone's like school mouthpiece and had just been beat to crap in some case or like dragged on the ground. And the rim had a bunch of like brass showing and a bunch of scratches. And if I don't shave, like right now, you can't tell, but I haven't shaved in like 3 days and it's getting kind of scruffy. It would be really uncomfortable. And you shouldn't play a mouthpiece that has exposed brass because it's just bad for your health and bad for your chopped muscles to get kind of like lead poisoning or whatever. So put out my feelers and looked for 6.5 ALs, and I found this luckily like a couple days later. This Corporation 6.5 AL small shank in pretty gosh darn good shape for 25 bucks, and it does everything the 90s mouthpiece did, but it's obviously way more comfortable, and the rim just in general is more flat instead of rounded. The 90s one is very rounded, which I can deal with, but I do prefer the kind of flatter rim. And it's just really flexible. I can play low, I can play high. I can kind of just do everything, and it's easy, and it makes this great sound, and I can play really loud, and I can play really soft, and the articulations are good, and I'm just, I don't know, super happy about it. So, kind of feels silly that I've spent kind of a lot of money on a lot of different mouthpieces to end up at a $25 6.5 AL after this whole time. But also it's kind of nice to just have like this cheap, easy to find, easy to play mouthpiece that just does kind of everything. I'm sure I'm going to get bored with it at some point and buy like a Monette that's $300. But for now, I'm playing this really cheap Silver Sonic, the Jank Sonic, with a $25 mouthpiece. And man, I love it. So that's the first mouthpiece. The second one, and the last one in this video, is that I finally, after literally years, found a mouthpiece that I like playing on euphonium. I don't think I've actually ever had a mouthpiece that I really like wanted to play. This came with the Yamaha 53H, a mouthpiece that was designed with in mind, which is what Adam Fry plays on. I'm not sure if he's the guy who designed it. I think he was one of the main artists who had the helping hand on the A42. But I don't know, I wasn't very developed at the time. It was just kind of big and I didn't like it. And that mouthpiece disappeared. I don't know where it went. A long time ago, it just disappeared off the face of the planet. I'd probably kind of like it now. And then I've gone through just this giant catalog of mouthpieces, bass trombone mouthpieces, tenor trombone mouthpieces, a couple of euphonium mouthpieces in there, A lot of stuff, and I ended up on my Schilke 5359, which has the 53 rim, which is like a Bach 3 size rim, and a 59 cup, which is a bass trombone cup, like the second largest you can get from Schilke. And man, it makes a great like tenor tuba sound. It's kind of fat sound, but it is just really hard to play. And I got to the point where I just didn't want to play euphonium anymore. I would get it out, play for like half an hour, and just be like, man, nope, I'm done. I just don't want to play it. And I'd put it away and have way more fun playing my trombones. And finally, someone put up for sale a mouthpiece I've been looking for years, a Dennis Wick SM3X, the ultra, the coolest possible Stephen Mead mouthpiece. I've been looking for just any Stephen Mead in the 3 size for like literally like 6 years now, and no one ever puts them up for sale that aren't just like totally trashed or they get sold really fast. So I got this large shank, gold plated, $100, and like barely used. And man, it just made this horn just actually fun to play. I want to play it now. I can play the whole range of the instrument. It all centers everywhere I go. I have high range, I have low range. The articulations work. It's super flexible. I like the sound. It's a little bit smaller than the Schilke. I really did like the sound of the Schilke. But when I just don't have fun playing, when I miss notes all the time, when I fluff attacks, it's not worth the sound. And this is definitely worth the tiny sound disadvantage. And some people would say it's just an advantage because it sounds more like euphonium now than the other mouthpiece. So, like, really honestly happy. This is 2 purchases, 125 bucks total, that got me to a euphonium that I like playing and a small tenor trombone that I can play just kind of consistently in anything that I needed to. And I've used, not this one yet, but I've used the 6.5 AL on gigs like 4 times now in like 2 weeks or something like that. And it has lived up to its name. It's great. This one, I haven't yet, but I have a feeling it's just going to be better in every regard. And I'm really excited, strangely, to play euphonium. Catch you guys in another video today about 2 bass trombone mouthpieces I just bought.